We're still on chapter 2. Now, the call of God. Are you called? I have a very good friend. In fact, it's like a family member. In his family, when we go out, or we are anywhere, and they are calling him, he's called. His father will stand at the car park when it's time to go home. And his father will say, and his sister is. The S. And then and then his mother is what? Do you remember what his mother is? You don't know. I forgot what his mother is. His mother is what? Who knows? You don't know who I'm talking about. There. It's true. That's him. His sister is, and his mother is. Oh, it's true. Jude knows him. Jude, tell her that it's true. Joe, I'm serious. So we'll all be in the room, then you hear. My father is calling me. My father is calling me. No need for a name. No need for a phone. That's the guy. His sister is. His sister is. You know I'm laughing? Because sometimes they're in trouble. And then his wife is. True though. So you hear, we'll be there. Yes, daddy. Yes, daddy. I know a boy who calls his beloved Salome. Salome. That's not me. He calls her Salome. So when you are there, you may hear, Salome. You don't know what's going on. He's calling her. I know people who call their beloved. You see, one day, a girl was complaining to her beloved. And she said, you're not romantic. When you are calling me, you just mention my name. But why don't you ever call me baby? Baby. Call me what? Baby. To which the brother responded, we ain't call out from baby. We ain't call out from baby. Be serious. I said, do you understand? Are you a child that should call you baby? Both the girl and the boy are here today. Yes. We are in Kola. Baby, why? Well, your name, they're all here. They're all in chest. In fact, when they see each other today, they all smile knowing that it's them. It's them. We are Kola, and I'm from baby. Baby, yeah, they're there. Baby. See, brothers, that's bad behavior. You can't say that. You can't do that. That's too bad. Some people call their beloveds what? Give me names. Queenie, you know this. Sweet. Sweet. Sweetheart. What else? Hot chocolate. Hey, you said hot chocolate. Serious. Cupcake. Holla. Holla. People call their beloveds holla. God have mercy. Cupcake. Sugar plum. Pumpkin. Muffin. So you see, you may be with beloveds, and then the girl will call her beloved, "Hey, cupcake." Then you say, "Oh yeah, Johnny." Yes. Oh yeah, Johnny. Yeah, friend of cupcake. And then you ask, why? Why is she hungry? What are you talking about? Yesterday, cupcake. Today, muffin. Why? Are you hungry? If you're hungry, tell us. Hot chocolate. Say why? Eh? Hey, milkshake. Hey, milkshake. So what do you call it, beloved? Kose. Hey, Kose. I miss you, Kose. Eh? Ah, okay. Of course. Yes. Hey, Kose. How you doing, Kose? Hey, Kose, I've missed you. Honey on my lips. Wow. Wow. People have different. When my wife is laughing at me, she calls me Rev. Hey, Rev. Charlie Rev. Revo, yes. Yes. Revo. I said that when I dress and I'm going to church, and maybe I'm listening to a message or I'm speaking in tongues together, and she doesn't look at it. Revo. You don't know. People have nicknames. Weapon. People are called weapon. I had a meeting on Sunday with somebody called Weapon. That's his name. People are called potassium, a human being. Potassium. Yes. There's somebody called bread knife. Bread knife. It's a church. People are called tea bag. Meanwhile, his father named him Kofi Abrebeselba. They have changed it to tea bag. People are called Tintin. No, and when you call even you see like iceberg, that's not his name. I mean, do you think when his father was doing his naming ceremony in Akimoda, he said, "I call him iceberg. He shall be called iceberg." But even as he's become a reverend, he's now called Reverend Ice. Reverend Ice. The call of God. So you may not know you are being called. You know, if I'm walking by you, you and your friend are discussing something, and you're holding a handbag, and your friend asks you, "What color is the handbag?" And she responds, "The handbag is red." I'll tell. When I hear red, I think they're calling me. God, nobody has ever called me. No, nobody ever says. No, when somebody else gets it. Excuse me, Opana, chief, boss. No, this red. This is what they call me. Red. Hey, Redo, Coco, Obroni, Nipro. That's all I know. Yevu. Yes. And on some rare cases, Jata. Yes. This is what they've called me since I was a child. Redo. So when I hear red, I'm being called. That's how it is with the call of God. The scripture actually says we are called to be saints. Many times, because of the method, the name, or the way that we are called, we don't know that we are being called. So we hear whistling and we think it's music. But somebody is being called. And then John, like the guy's mother is what?
Actually, you cannot remember, but when you hear it, you know that it's you.
When you hear it, you know it's here. Yeah. So I would have said, the watchman is whistling outside. But he hears, Daddy is calling me now. Then you may hear muffin. Then you'll be thinking, I comment then. He's hungry. You hear baby. Say, oh. And then me and Kolana going for a baby. You hear iceberg. You're thinking, maybe it's a drink. But somebody's being called. You hear weapon, you may duck. So when God calls some people, they duck because they think they are being attacked. But they are being called. They think it's music. They think it's music, but they are being called. The work of a shepherd begins with a call. How did God call you? This is a brilliant scripture because it tells us that to be a saint or to be a Christian, you were called. An analysis of your call to be a Christian will help you to analyze how God will call you into ministry. Yes. How you came to know God. How many of you gave your life to Christ in this church? In this church, you gave your life to Christ. You were not a Christian before. And then in this church, Tibo camp. You give me a mic. There's no mic. Tibo, run on down. Tibo, tell us about how you got saved. What? That's nonsense. This is a mic. It works. It's on. Why can't you make this one work? Why are you telling us which mic to use? I went to school. Oh. Yes, use this mic. Why are you sending us to go and bring another mic? Anyway. Yes. Tibo, correction. Yes, Tibo, speak.
Yes. I came to level 100 in 2040 UPS.
Volume? Mm-hmm.
And so when I came, I had my own mind. So I was in my room
You had your own mind. Some people don't have. You keep going, don't worry. I won't interrupt. Yes?
I was in my room one afternoon and someone came to me to invite me for church.
Who?
My elder.
Okay, what was the person's name?
Kwame
Anokwari. Wow. Mm-hmm.
And so 1 week and I didn't go. The following week, then he came. But as he came, I said, "Oh, I'll be going to church, Presby. I'll be going to church."
You're going to Presby, but you are not going. Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how, but I went.
Mm-hmm.
Legon. So when I came to church, that day was preaching.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember what he preached about, but I remember I was standing with one of my friends. And I went in front, and he was looking at me. I told him that I was not saved.
Hmm.
I went in front and I gave my.
So he was sitting in church. Prophet was standing on stage. Prophet preached. You want to give your life to Christ? Lift up your right hand. Lifted up his right hand. If you've lifted up your hand, do one more thing. Come to the front.
Yes.
I want to pray with you. And he came to the front. That's how he was called to become a saint. Maybe he's not aware of any call. He didn't even know he was being called. But if you are a saint, you were called. That's the calling. Now, he didn't receive. Did you have a vision?
Yes.
Were you on the road to Medina and you were struck down? No, to give your life to Christ. Did you have
No.
You were struck down.
No.
And an angel appeared to you.
No, at all.
And told you, Tibu, it's hard for thee to kick against the pricks.
At all.
My daughter Tibu.
At all.
No. That's how you became a saint. It was a call. In the same way, you stand in church and you hear many are called. And you feel it's you. And your friend looks at you like there's something wrong with you. That's also the call of God. That's exactly the call. You want a vision to show you that you are called? You want a dream? You want a prophet to look at your face, tell you your bank account number, and the color of your house panty? Before you believe that you are called. Pastor Daniel, you were in church. There was only one. Tell us. There was only one person in church that day. Tell us. That's a nice story.
So I made a decision about a year before I went to church that I wouldn't go to church anymore.
You wouldn't what?
Attend any church,
Mm-hmm.
any service, for any reason. Weddings, I would never go to the ceremony. I would come to the reception. Even funerals, I didn't go to the church part. I would come after. It's like a personal decision that I'd made. People would evangelize. My answer would be no. I don't go to church. I'm not interested. I'm fine. And then one Saturday, in my final year of university, I walked into the library, and then somebody was sitting down at a table. It was early, very early. I can't even remember why I went to the library that morning. And somebody said to me, "Oh, do you go to church?" Oh, straight answer. Oh, no, I'm not interested. And then he said, "Can you come with me to church tomorrow?" And I said, "Yes." And then as I said yes, I was confused, because no was the standard answer for over 1 year without thinking. So I don't know why I said yes. So as I said yes, I said, "Mercy, I didn't say mercy, but I said, I'm going to let this guy down." But anyway, he took my number, and then I left. So I'd already decided I'm not going. Then in the morning, for some reason, I woke up and I messaged him to ask if church is still happening and where I should meet him. So then I met him in the morning. Then I drove him to church. I picked him up and I drove him to church. Hey, look, yeah. So then
The Holy Spirit.
we arrived at church in a small old Salvation Army building. And then we walked in through the corridor. Then we went into a hall. And then as we got in, praise and worship was happening. And then the pastor was on the keyboard. There were two people doing praise and worship, somebody on the drums. Then the guy who invited me went to do the projector. So he ushered me to my seat on the way to the projector. So I stood there. And I remember looking around. There was no church. I'd never seen a church like that before.
What do you mean there was no church?
I mean, they were doing the praise and worship, and I was the only person in the congregation. So I thought either we're very early or it's a rehearsal. So then the praise and worship carried on.
So how many people were leading praise and worship?
2.
There were 2 praise and worship leaders,
One
one
keyboard,
keyboardist, and
one
one
drum,
projector,
and one
one
projector.
drummer, one projector, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then the only congregation that they were ministering to was you.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
So I stood there for the praise and worship. I think I may have even sat at a point. And then praise and worship finished. I don't remember anything because I remember the preaching. It was about Abrahamic success. And I was just sitting there and I was just listening. And then at the end of the preaching, the altar call was made. And I just felt that I have to go forward. I don't know why. I don't even think I wasn't engaged in the service in any major way. I was already confused as to why I was even sitting there. I still hadn't gotten over that. So I just went and at the end of the service, I gave my life.
That was a calling. What he experienced was the call of God. Called to be saints. After this experience, Daniel shouldn't tell us he doesn't know whether God has called him or not. Because you didn't experience any vision or hear any voice, or you became a Christian through a call, but you didn't hear any fantastic
At all.
No. God drew you. I mean, I'm sure you didn't even understand the sermon.
At all.
I mean, if it was me, I would be instantly regretting coming.
Yes.
I've locked myself. Yeah, I've locked myself.
If I leave, everybody
If I
will
leave,
see
the
me.
church is empty. If I leave, I can't leave. The pressure is too high. And I can just imagine the kind of song they'll be singing. The drum will be too loud, the piano to be a hold, and the projector guy, and they're trying to sing along. And they're all looking at me. I'm the congregation, so I have to sing. I have to. If they say lift your hands to the Lord, they are talking to me. There's no one else. But what you are experiencing is that somebody is saying, baby. So you can either say, I don't know what you're talking about. Ade, woye, nkola, I'm in for baby. Or you can say, yes, dear. Yeah, baby, yes, dear. Then you are responding to the call. Many people are called. And in the same way that God called us to salvation, God called us also to work for Him. So everybody here is called. Everybody. Now, the second part is that if we are called to be saints, then saints are supposed to be perfected for the work of the ministry, for the edifying of the. So as long as you are a saint, as long as now the other thing that you can pick up is that some are apostles. Look at it, Ephesians 4:11. Some are apostles, some are prophets, some are evangelists, but all are saints. Yes, all are saints. All are saints. All of us. All of us are saints. You may not be an apostle. You may not be a prophet. You may not be a healing evangelist. But you are a saint. And as long as you are a saint, there's something to do. There's something to try. Now, Pastor Daniel, thank you. Why am I sharing on the call to be a saint? Pastor Kent, why? Because I want you to know that what you are doing is not what you chose. It's what God has called you to do. Your bacenta is not a choice. You don't have a choice. It's not a man who is calling you. Today you are saying it's a man. When you gave your life to Christ, whose voice did you hear? When Thibaut gave his life to Christ, who was talking on the stage? Was it an angel? Whose voice were you hearing? Today you are saying that that man is a man who is telling you to work. I want a vision, or else I don't understand it. That basonta is a call. Those 7 people, it's the instruction of God. Be careful to mix the voice of God with the voice of your pastor. 1 Samuel 3. First Samuel 3. We're taking a break soon. The child Samuel ministered unto the Lord before Eli. And the word of the Lord was precious in those days. There was no open vision. Are you with me? Verse 2. And it came to pass at that time, when Eli was laid down in his place, and his eyes began to wax dim, that he could not see. And the lamp of God went out in the temple of God, where the ark of God was, and Samuel was laid down to sleep. Look at this. No. Don't be too quick. Go back. Samuel was sleeping in the temple of God. When you are in the temple of God, it's only a matter of time before you hear something. If you stay in the temple, if you are in church, it's only a matter of time before God calls you. So don't be surprised. You can't be in our church for more than 3 months without feeling that. You see, somebody left our church and said that he's at peace. He's at peace. Yes. And he left our church maybe about 12 or 13 years ago. Yes. One of our old first pastors, early pastors, lay pastors. And one of our pastors went to have breakfast with him. I was telling him that he should come back. He mentioned the church in Accra that he's at. And he said, I'm at peace. I'm at peace. Your place, every day, do something, move, this, that. I mean, when you come, there's always something you have to do that you have not done. Do you feel that pressure? Yes. Let's push it, move it, move it, move it. So he said, I am at peace. I'm at peace. I just go to church, I worship my God, I give my offering, I go home, I'm at peace. Here, what do I mean? Are you at peace? One day, Pastor Solomon tells you that he cannot sleep. He's a lay pastor. He said he cannot sleep. Oh, I'm wrong. No, it's very true. I should teach him how to sleep. He cannot. The stress of the work of God. My voice is even gone. Voice is gone. That's why the guy said, I am at peace. Samuel was asleep in the house of God. Verse 4. The Lord called Samuel and he answered, Here am I. He heard a voice calling him. He said, Here am I. Verse 5. And he ran unto Eli and said, Here am I, for thou callest me. And he said, I didn't call you. You see, if I call you, when I say, Hello, Charlie Jude, Nako, where are you? Paul, I beg you, 2 minutes. Potassium, how? Charlie, it's a quick one. Charlie, I beg. You see, within the first 5 sentences, you know it's me. Why? Because you talk to me all the time. Even if I call you with another number, you tell me no. Because you hear me preaching. You hear me talking. You hear me shouting, laughing. Even if you hear my laugh. If I call you, I say, Queenie, how are you? Say, hey, Reverend Joshua, hello. Because you know my voice. Because when you're in church for a long time, you know your pastor's voice. And so someone knew Eli's voice. He was very sure that the voice he was hearing was Eli's voice. In fact, 3 times he made a mistake and said, it can never be God, it's my pastor. I'm sure of it. Even the way he was being called, he knew it was Eli. Even the way, that's why he said, Here am I. If an armed robber comes and messes with him, you will not say, Yes, I'm here. No. If you're in your house and you suddenly hear your name at 2 a.m. and you hear, Olive, will you say, Yes, I'm here? You will never say in the middle of the night. You never say that. You may get your gun before you even begin anything. But when he heard Eli, he said, Yes, I'm coming. I'm sure. My pastor. 3 times. Slept again. I'm sure. Again. I'm sure. Again. It's you. But I heard your voice. Are you playing a joke? Eli, it's you. Because the voice of God sounds like the voice of your pastor. The voice of God sounds like the voice of your pastor. It's true. So every time Eli will shout, you say, every time God will shout, you say, it's Eli. And the Bible says, and Eli perceived that God had called the boy. So when you got shouted at and they said, Jude, you must be nothing less than 1,000 people. That voice sounds like it's your pastor who is saying it. I don't know if you are getting what I'm talking about. Yes. When they say, Eric, do not have 2,000 members sitting down. No. It sounds like your pastor is telling you something. So you keep on saying, they said I should. They said I should bus. They said we should check whether our 6 people have come. So I'm now going to check on them. Because it sounds like Jeffrey. It sounds like Sister Vivaldi. But actually, it's God. God is the one who is calling. God is the one who is giving you that work. God is the one who has given you the dance. In heaven, you know, one of your major chapters will be dancing stars. Your major chapters of judgment will be dancing stars. You've not thought about it. Your 8% to be a major discussion. Where's Kwabna? Where's Kwabna? Where is John? Then they'll hold your ear. Look down. There'll be a balcony to see her. Can you see Aaron? Can you see Aaron? It's your fault. Is it not your fault? It should not be easy. Heaven will not be easy. Your 12 guys, they are so important to God. You see Adra? I called you to go to Adra. You say Pastor Joshua will give you the job. You are mad. 3 times. You may even ask, who is Adra? Adra. Oh, but Adra. She wasn't stable. The lions came for her. She wasn't picking my call, so I had to move on. She had cramps. Her phone was never working. Heaven is going to be bad. We've not actually started talking about the shepherd. We're talking about becoming a shepherd. The call of God. The perfection of saints. The work of the ministry. The edifying of the body of Christ. The call for every Christian to serve God and to do something. The realization that he who has called us and anointed us is God, not a man. God has called me. I'm called, though. I've been given an instruction. Daniela, when you get to heaven, then they'll start. Okay. Gave her life to Christ 22nd June 2011. Then they start. Okay, we start with Legon. Let's go through Legon. Where is Barnabas? Where is Jonathan? Barnabas, your sheep? Barnabas. Then the nature, the general, the threadbare. Eric, you answer or you start in Panther. Where are the sheep? Where are the sheep? That's why when Eliab saw David on the battlefield, he was confused. He was confused. He said, with who did you leave those few sheep? He was confused. I don't understand. Why are you here? That's how I feel sometimes. Why are you standing here? At this time, Pastor Frank is leading prayer. You are standing. At this time. So where are the few sheep? Not the many. The few, where are they? How did you end up here at this time? Why are you standing here by now? How many of you realize that you are not a shepherd? I just want to know whether you realize that there's something missing. That's my. See, this morning I've tried to calm down for you because last night I realized that the tension was high, especially in this general area. But I want you to know my friends, that what we are doing is not man's business. It's the call and the instruction of God to do what we are doing. And the fact that you haven't seen a vision about your basonta doesn't mean you shouldn't be worried about it. You've not seen a vision about aunties and uncles. Are you here? Yeah. You've not seen a vision about your secondary school. So is the pastor. Many people bust because of their pastor. Hey, I have to report. You ask me, Charlie, I can't lie. You see, can I ask you a question? Do you wake up on Sunday morning and think of how you can get out of church today? Does it happen? Tell me the truth that I heard. Today. Yeah, I wish the day is already over. And Monday will just come because hey. Yeah, I wish today no meetings. I wish. Me too. Sometimes I tell the people, can I not go home early today? Can we not just close? Sometimes on Sunday I calculate I can fall sick. My wife is a doctor, she'll confirm it. Sometimes I think maybe if I don't go, maybe I'll not go for first service. And then second service, so I'll not go. Then realize I have to introduce daddy. I'll just come for revival. I can't. And if I don't go for first service too, I've started a series. So if I break the series, it will not work. So I have to go. And I calculate. Meetings I have to have today. As I sit in my car to Spark, people, can I see you today, RJ? Today, can I meet you today? So RJ, please, today, you may promise me on Wednesday that we'll meet. RJ, I just know that, hey, I have 24 people to see. And I know number 13 and 14, their problem is going to take 2 hours. And I just want to close. But I know that the one who called me to do the work is not my pastor. That's why nobody pushes or forces me to do anything. The love of God constrains me. It moves me. It propels me. It controls me. It moves me. You see, sure, you have to be moved. No, I'm not going to answer for this choir. Look, in heaven, a lot of excuses are not accepted. A lot of talking is not accepted. Maybe you've not met one for a wicked person who doesn't understand talking. Have you met a policeman who won't take bribe? I'm not saying that you should bribe policemen, but I'm just asking that. Have you met somebody who will not take bribe? Hey, one day I met a policeman. He told me, no. Are you a Christian? He asked me, are you a Christian? I said, yes, I'm a Christian. I'm also a Christian. Stop that. Then he went into his police car and brought a book with the driving code. Then read it. I said, oh boss, I know that I was not read it. Oh boss, I understand. I don't have to read it. I know. I admit that. Please read it. Then I read. Driving without a driving license is a driving offense. Police reserve the right to, number one, search the car. Number two, remand the car. And whatever. At the police station, said, I have the right. Please park your car. Boss, please park your car. I said, boss, let's work it out. Are you a Christian? I'm also a Christian. Please, I'm also a Christian. Let's do the right thing. That word right thing, I hate it with my passion. Since secondary school, I hate it. Let's do the right thing. Since secondary school, I hate it. You know, in Wesley Girls, if you do something that you're not supposed to do, like your friend standing by you tell you that report yourself. It's the right thing. But yes, I'm serious. Or are there any Wesley Girls people here? Yes, stand up. What do they say? They say, well, report yourself.
Tell you to right wrong. So you either should report yourself or I'll report you.
Right the wrong. They don't understand. A policeman doesn't understand. Read it, please. Please park your car. Please, I went to the police station. Oh yes, I went to the police station. Then I've handed you over to the, I've forgotten what they've entered you into the system. Please give me your car key. Please give me your car key. Please give me your car key, please. You are a Christian. And he gave the key. And he handed me over to the police station. He said, thank you. My work is finished here. He went to park his car and left. Me with that. Now, those other policemen, I mean, those guys you can. In heaven, God is like a policeman who doesn't take bribe. Please read the names. Read the names of your sheep. John Mensah. Where the flock I gave you? Angela Bedu. Favor Otuga. Kwame Anokware. Johnson. Fatima. Read. Then as you read, you stop and say, I know that all these people, I know I didn't track. Please, read. Read. Listen. Are you a Christian? I'm also a Christian. Read. Read. I'm sharing with you what makes me work. God, you see, Reverend Paul, God has called you to UPSC. Acts chapter 20, I think verse 28. Take heed to yourself. Take heed to yourself. Be careful about yourself, number one. Number two, be careful about the flock over the which the holy, who made you an overseer? Savior, me, today you are calling me that I made you a center. Okay. Are you a Christian? Please read. Read it. Over the which the Holy Spirit has. Sure, the Holy Spirit has entrusted you that the whole First Love Center, you are in charge of understanding campaign. And that all souls will be established in the kingdom because of you. And that no souls will be lost in the church. You are the plug. You are the plug at the bottom of the bathtub to ensure that all souls. So every soul that is lost in First Love Church, that's your calling. It's a call. It's God who has called us. Mr. G, you have been called to Wisconsin. Everywhere there's no church, you answer for it. Over the which, if you are an overseer of sheep, I didn't make you. The Holy Spirit makes overseers. I didn't make you. Eric, Cape Coast, you answer for it from a year to year. Fifi, where is he? Fifi, you will answer for Takwa. From a new Atuabu, that's what it's called. It all the way to Takwa. Is there old Atuabu? There's only a new one. Yeah. Behold, I do a new thing. Jeff, you answer for the choir. You see, you will not believe how serious God is about those He died for. You will not believe how detailed He is. As I said, I'm even afraid. How detailed God will ask you, where is the flock? Where is it? You don't want to answer that question. That's why I'm sharing with you that it is the call of God. It is the call of God. Yeah, my way. I want to finish my call. I'm almost finished. My time is almost up. A few more years. Finish. You see, when I was in Belgium, I was a pastor. Do you know I was a pastor in Belgium? You didn't know. I used to pastor a church in Belgium while living somewhere else. And one day, I felt the Lord speaking to me about something about the church. And He asked me to have a convention. He even confirmed it through my pastor and other people that I was supposed to do that. Delay for about 4 months. Eventually, I called the convention. Day one, I preached about the presence of the Holy Spirit. But that's not what I wanted to preach about. I said, day two usually has good attendance. Then day three. After day one, I preached powerfully. presence of God was everywhere. And then I went to bed tonight. When I woke up the next morning, I drew the curtains in the window of the room I was staying in. And I looked down. And I saw an army tank. A tank. Do you know a tank? With a barrel. And I saw soldiers with AK-47s walking in the street. So I thought maybe it's a parade. Belgian celebration. So I went downstairs and I was watching them passing by. A lot of them. Whole street. And there was nobody else on the road. Then I walked into a McDonald's to buy coffee early in the morning. And I ordered coffee. Now when I didn't get to them. When I opened the door to McDonald's, they have chairs and table chairs. The first table and chair in the middle of between the door and the counter was two soldiers with an AK-47. He just looked at me and started speaking French. So he asked me in French. I can sometimes, I dabble. So he asked me, what are you looking for? As soon as I entered, the boss stood up. What are you looking for? I said, coming to buy coffee. Then he asked me, c'est très important. Is it very important? La café, the coffee. C'est très important. Is it very important? I said, why? He said, there's a curfew everywhere. Is the coffee so important for your life? Then I realized that no. Something has happened. So I went upstairs. Turned on the TV. The airport has been bombed. 12 people have been killed in the city. So I went downstairs, packed my things. Hey, I'm leaving this country. When I got down, I was with Pastor Kwame. We decided to go and walk around to see how the city was. Before I even packed my things, we went to walk around. Was I with him? Was I alone? I don't remember. But suddenly I saw a man running with 4 soldiers chasing him. So I advised myself to enter the shop. I still have the picture on my phone. Through the glass, they pushed the man to the ground, held the AK-47 to his head. Later, I watched the exact same thing on the news. They had arrested one of the terrorists in front of where I was staying. That was the end of my convent. That's the last weekend I spent in Belgium. It was my last week, so I thought that, I'll be able to do what I have to do. It's my last week. But the time was shorter than I thought. And the night had come when no man comes. That was the last time I preached in my church. It was finished. The tanks had come to close us. What will close your time? You see, Pastor Paul, they are not interested in your message in Legon anymore. They are not interested. You used to be there, or you used to have a church with Liman, New York City, Liman. And you used to preach there. The time has come. They thank you. They thank you. Daniela is honest. She's fine. Doesn't need you. Thank you very much. Our time finishes. So never think that what you are holding, you hold it forever. One day it will not be there anymore. So it will go. This is your work. This is your calling. Nobody should stand in your way. It's my time. Winning. This is it. One day they'll say, listen now. So I pray for you that God will help you to concentrate on what He's called you to do. In Jesus' name. Amen. So I think we take a break. Oh, what's the time? Well, we started at what time? 7:30. 2 hours. But you haven't taken a break since you came. Oh, you have to bath. And some have them bath. Some have not eaten. Some have not brushed their teeth. So there will be an incense, the atmosphere. But I really believe at this camp that God is transforming His church. Now, next week, how many of you are wondering whether this work is even for you? How many of you are, the way it's going, are just wondering if that's okay to you? Good. That's why in the next session, we're going to go into reasons why all of you can be a shepherd. Everybody here can be a shepherd. I'm going to give you reasons why all of you. There's nobody here who can be a shepherd. Everybody, no matter who you are here, you can and you will be a shepherd. You will. If I can be a shepherd, you can be a shepherd. If I can be a shepherd, then you, dear. Me, I don't like people. You never understand what I'm saying until you know me. I don't like human beings. I don't like animals. I don't like living things. I don't like living things. I like being alone. You can ask. If you visit me in my house, you'll be chatting with my wife. I'll come and say, hey, you see, you feel that at home maybe I'm preaching a lot. Or I'm sharing revelation at home. Last night, my little sister and my wife were asking me to sit with them for 10 minutes. Can you sit with us for 10 minutes? My sister asked me, oh, you just came home, just sit, we are sitting. We are around. The TV is on, we are just sitting down, we are chatting. Can you sit with us for 10 minutes? Told me it is 2:38. Can you sit with us till 2:48? Sorry, I'm an ask student. 2:48. Can you watch with us for 10 minutes? Then my wife didn't look up. She just said, ask him. Ask him. So I felt bad. So I sat in the chair. I realized that they all felt I won't. So I also took a decision that I will. So I sat down. I didn't have a clock or anything. So they were chatting. I was just listening. After 3 minutes, I said, what's the time? What's the time? Told me it's 41. I asked, what is the time? Every 2 minutes. What's the time? I finished now. As soon as it was 48, I said, hey, I've done my part. I'm going. We go. That's how I am. But I thank God that the requirement is not you have to be a people's person. God has made me a shepherd. You don't have to be a man of the people. I don't like human beings. If you come to my house, you come and visit me. Hey guys, I hope everything is okay. You have everything you need. Wonderful. It's working. And I'll go and be in the room alone. Alone. I don't talk. I'll be silent. I'll be looking at everything. You all think I talk at home. I'll be chatting. No. My wife is the one who talks. And this happened and that happened and this happened and that happened and this, that. So I like when visitors come so that. Yeah. But even I can be a shepherd. I thank God that the qualification for shepherd is not holiness. Governor. Holiness and perfection. I thank God that it's not virginity. The attendance will reduce drastically. Drastic reduction. There's no virgin. No, not one. Only virgins left are Borges. I thank God that the requirement for shepherding is not hairstyle or human hair or the lack of it. Or you have to go natural or God cannot use you. Thank God. I even thank God that it's not wasi. The requirement is not wasi. 3 A's and B's minimum. I thank God it's not a strong second upper. You see. Strong second upper. Like just like what Queenie had. Queenie had a very strong, you know, a strong second upper means just a little bit more you to be a first class. Very strong. Just like what Queenie had. And if it wasn't what Queenie had, she would have corrected me that, oh no, PJ, stop. So the fact that she's silent means that's what she got. A very strong second upper. And the TV plus, pardon? It must have been a first class because the way she's even quiet and she got a bit. Aye. So she's saying no to the second half. It's actually a first. Yeah. Actually a first. I mean, when you look at it, it must be a first class. I mean, yes. In what? What did you study? Accounting. I mean, first class accounting. I thank God that the requirement is not first class, or it's only Queen will be here. First class in accounting, or you can't serve God. Queen is the only one who will be here. Because she had a first class. Strong. A healthy first class. I mean, if you take away 10 from her GPA, she'll still be on top. Strong one. Very strong. It's healthy. It's healthy. Healthy first class. If it were not so, I would have told you. Yes. So that, we've known her for some time, so what else do we, Yes. If it was a strong upper, only the first row would have qualified. But I thank God. If it wasn't so, by now the president have to say, oh no, Pastor. God is going to use you. God is going to use you. If you are looking for bad news today, then you'll be disappointed because I only have good news for you. God is going to use you. God is going to pick you up. God is going to do great things with you. God is going to make you a shepherd. You are becoming a shepherd. You are becoming a real shepherd. You will stand in front of a congregation like this and explain to them that you also can become a shepherd. And you tell them, if God could pick me up and if God could hold my hand and use me, then God can use you too. You will be. Sit down. You will be a shepherd. You will be. That's what I'm going to give you reasons why. You see, if I leave you in your natural state, that Jerusalem I'm seeing, if I leave you in Jerusalem, you won't be a shepherd. Smiling is not shepherding. Smiling is not shepherding. If smiling was shepherding, then I mean, you couldn't be a shepherd. You don't smile much. Couldn't be. Couldn't be. You struggle. But you don't have to smile. It's not about smiling. A good shepherd. A good shepherd. Now, I just want you to have that vision. I'm here to learn. Whatever it is, I'm here to learn. The years of struggling are over. No, I tell you, the nature of this book is prophetic. It's impartational. It imparts. The nature of the message I'm preaching is prophetic. It actually imparts something into you. Joseph, when it enters into you, you will not be the same again. The years of struggling are over. You struggle on Swollen Sunday to find those who have stopped coming and those type of things. That's the struggle. The other days, you just show up. Your members are there peacefully. Your members are there peacefully. Say, have we raised funds for the bus? Oh, Pastor, that's for me today. It's for me. Stop. Pastor, he paid last week. It's not fair. I'm the one supposed to pay this week. It's for me. Please. I pay this. It's mine. March is for me. March is for me. Pastor, I want to give you the whole bassin bill for March. Here you go. This is the whole. What I'm saying, I'm serious. This is the whole bassin bill for March. And then this one is just for you. Something small. Something small. Receive a grace. Do you know that if you lack something, it's because you don't have grace? Acts chapter 4, verse 33. And with great power gave the apostles witness of the resurrection of the Lord Jesus. And great grace was on them all. 34. Neither was there any among them that lacked. Whatever you lack at this camp, receive a grace to supply your lack. I've paid for the bus, please. Pastor, today I wanted to catch prayer time and we are 9. Can we take the lead? We are 9. Can we take the lead? You are late. I notice you are late. I prophesy a new problem in your life. Your bus has left you. I prophesy a new problem. Your bus has left you. You couldn't make it. No, me, I always try to imagine a bus center leader, me, Kent. Oh, I mean, I'm always fighting for 9. Do you recognize that's not ministry? 9. You fight for 30. 9, 10, the basic, 15, 12, 13, 15, 16. I have to fight. And what's missing is the gift of shepherding. So, God bless you. My dear, you are standing to stay with us, isn't it? And to him who is able to keep you from falling. Amen. No, I sense tiredness. And so I think last night there was a lot of chatting. So come on. I've been doing this for a while. So I'm going to give you a long break. I don't want to preach to tired people. I need you to rest. Will you really rest if I give you a proper... Do you want a long break so you come back alive? Because the next part is going to be explosive. So I need you to be alive and alert. Okay? So I don't like preaching to tired people. So I want to give you a long break. It's 9:30. So I let you come back at 12:30. Yeah, so that you rest. Gee, honestly, I want to be preaching to tired people who are... You are tired. I can tell you for free. You are tired. But it's if you go straight to bed. So will you go to bed? Will you go to bed? Okay, so let's come back at 12. It's 9:30? 9:20. So you have 2.5 hours. Yeah. Okay, 12:30 sharp. 3 hours. You meet. And I'm going to give you 15 reasons why everybody here will go home as a shepherd. 15 reasons why nobody here will be exempted from the gift of being a shepherd. 15 reasons. That's the next session. When you come, I just want you to be alive. And I want you to be ready to receive what God has for you. In Jesus' name. Amen.